everyone, my name is Diana Smuda. I am the program coordinator for the Buchanan Area Senior Center. Very excited to be here today. We are doing a virtual cooking. We are featuring Sabine Wheetley. She is a board member as well as a secretary to the board.
I am the secretary to the board.
Yeah,
so any notes that don't look right, it's due to me.
She is awesome. So very excited to be here today. Today she's going to show us how to prepare a healthy meal. And I'm going to hand it off to you and you can explain what's going on. Thank you.
All right, well, hi everyone. I'm Sabine, like Diana said, and I absolutely love to cook. It is something that I kind of inherited from my parents. They both absolutely love to cook. So here I am. I'm going to prepare some salmon with some sweet potato peppers. And let's just get to it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my ingredients. I have a shallot here, green pepper, cilantro, a sweet potato, and some salmon, some sunflower seeds, of course olive oil, and then some spices that we can talk about. So how we're going to start is we're going to start with just drizzling a little bit of olive oil on our sheet. Our vegetables. We already preheated the oven to 425 just to make sure it's good and ready. Now meal can go kind of quick. And we're going to start by just chopping our shallot here. Something that I learned off a cooking show is not to go all the way to the top and just kind of cut almost to the top. That way when you're trying to make the small pieces, it doesn't fall apart on you. So I keep trying to remember that, but sometimes I get a little too much in a hurry and I forget. Here we go. Got this. Add that on here. All right. Then let's get to our sweet potato. Brought a couple of knives because you all know we all have our favorite knives in our home and they all work differently on what we're trying to accomplish. And sadly, sweet potatoes are really hard for me to cut at times. This one is giving me a little bit of trouble. We'll just make the best of it. Not only are we cooking a nice healthy meal, we're also getting a workout today. And something I learned about sweet potatoes at home, there are times I just let my husband cut them up. So if you have a helper, take advantage of it. I like to cut them up in some smaller cubes because that way they cook faster. Due to my husband's work schedule, I only have a short time in the evening to cook a meal for us because he has to go to work in the evenings. And so I like to make it where we can eat quickly. So we do get to spend some time with each other. What we need, Diana, is a little bit of music.
Oh yes. La, di, da, da, di, da, da.
There we go.
Sabine, I'm here in the background. She is videoing. She is an amazing cook. We were friends outside of the BASC as well. And we are, look at there. What do we have? I think you need to come a little bit more.
Oh wait, are you great?
Go say hi.
Come on, Adam, say hi.
Hi.
That's Adam. He is our wonderful executive director.
I'm the chocolate provider of chocolate.
We all need our chocolate. We all appreciate it. Thank you, Adam. You made my day.
That's what's fun about this kind of stuff. Things just happen and we just roll with everything. But as I was saying, is that you go to her house and you can smell the aroma that
Thank you.
she's cooking, and it's so delightful. However, due to the last year, we have not had an opportunity, so it's been a long time.
But now that we're fully vaccinated,
Both of us, yes.
and just a reminder, if you're not, the county health department has a website you can go on where you can find appointments.
Yes.
Spread the word. We want to get all our BASC friends back in here.
And we are excited. As of today, we have March 16th of 2021. And starting in April of 2021, we are very happy to be bringing back more classes. We're bringing back the cards and the games. And we do have exercising classes inside, except for the power beats that's still out in the garage.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so happy people here. Bringing in some programs.
So here we are on to our green pepper.
And look how beautifully you did that.
Well, everybody has their own way. So I like to just cut the top off. And then I like to take kind of, the guts will come out nicely usually, and this one doesn't have any seeds inside. And again, everybody does their own way. I am by no means a professional chef, so as you can tell, I'm having some difficulties with some of my cutting, but it doesn't keep me from cooking. I just do what I can because, you know, I like to eat. I do watch a lot of cooking and kitchen shows on TV, so.
Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite because I love to learn from many different people, and so it's if you watch different people cook. Oh, I do have a favorite cooking show, but it is not really a cooking show. It's called America's Worst Chef, and it just blows me away. Some people can't even boil water.
Well, watch who you're talking to. I am not a cook, but I am learning. I think 2021 was going to be the year I would learn to cook something new each month, and I have been on point doing that. And a little bit more and doing more cooking.
Yes.
So, yeah. No more box macaroni and cheese. Made my first homemade macaroni and cheese.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's
And you can make it with so many different variations once you kind of get the basics down.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the sky's the limit.
So lots of fun.
So are the pounds on my hips.
Now you said that cooking was something that you grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother was a big cook?
My mother and father.
Oh,
My
yes.
dad wanted to be a chef, but because he grew up World War II, that being able to learn it as a trade back in Germany was not an option for him at the time. They needed factory workers more than they needed chefs, and so he never got the opportunity to, you know, have it as a skilled trade. But my mom and dad will read women's magazines and rip out recipes, and they have a big folder, and then they work their way through those recipes.
So were they a team, or were they in the kitchen together cooking? Like on the weekends when he wasn't working and such?
No, it was either or, because otherwise one or the other would get kicked out of the kitchen.
One took over.
So yes, also they love to cook. They would decide who would make what, and that's how it was done. I'm going to prepare some of my cilantro here while I already have the cutting board out. We don't really need that much for our meal here. And again, I am not a professional chef. Also, I do know that people have the professional tactics on how to do all this. short skin here.
Oh, I can smell those grapehoppers.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of my favorite smells.
Really?
Yes.
I love peppers. I prefer any other color than green, but that just goes really well with this dish. Somebody peeking in the door.
It's fine. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Toronto? Like any tricks and trays about taking the stem off?
I use the stem too because I learned from one of the cooking shows. There's a lovely lady out of England, her name's Nadia. She actually won the British Baking Challenge, but she also does a lot of cooking. And from her I learned how nice it is to have the stems too, because that's actually where a lot of flavor is being held also. So we're going to save this for later. So we have our vegetables here. Now get to our spices. Something I like to use in this kind of meal, because we're still kind of in the wintertime phase, so we want to use a lot of warming spices. And we have coriander and oregano, and some oregano here, coriander, and some cumin, ground cumin. And using those spices with the sweet potatoes, it was a root vegetable, comes out of the ground, those earthy flavors, that just kind of brings out a lot of the fun. So I am not a shy girl when it comes to my seasoning, because I like to taste it. I read somewhere, or I saw a cartoon where they said, back in the medieval times, if you had a full spice cabinet, that means you were a rich person. So according to that, I am really wealthy. A little bit of oil yet. And then I toss it on here. I'm going to use my hands. I will wash them again, because it just works better to massage in the oil and the seasoning. Oh, that smells so good already. It's not even cooked yet. And I'm going to ask my chef assistant to put this in the oven. I'll just spread it out real well. We're going to cook this for about 18 minutes because we got these all chopped nicely small. It shouldn't take that long. And we'll wash my hands real quick.
So while she's washing her hands, I just want to come over here and say thank you so much for joining us today, or as you are watching this at your leisure. And I love the fact that you gave us some really tips and tools, stuff that she has learned along the way, and sharing with us. I can smell it. I'm over here now closer. I can smell. It smells so good. Like I just want to eat this bell pepper, but it's so yummy, yummy, yummy. And I think now that is going to, thank you, I will save that for later, absolutely. I think what we're going to do now is kind of just get to know Serena a little bit more as we're letting that cook. So, like I mentioned, she's the secretary for the board here at the Buchanan Area Senior Center. What led you there? What gave you passion? What said, okay, I want to be a part of this?
So, I don't know if anyone could tell, but I am not originally from Buchanan. I actually grew up in Germany. I met my husband there when he was in the service and got transplanted to Buchanan. I'm now living here for 34 years, and when I first came here, I wanted to find a place where I can figure out where I belong. And so I ended up actually volunteering a lot for the Chamber of Commerce early on, and I worked with Monroe on that when she was the executive director there. met a lot of lovely people, helped out with a lot of events. For one of the wine tasting events we had, I actually ran a free daycare, so parents can go and taste some wine, have some fun while the kids are being taken care of. And so that's how I kind of became active in the community. And I also at the time worked for Bosch Rexroth, and I was kind of the liaison between Bosch Rexroth and the chamber. And then time progresses, I started working outside of Buchanan, and I still felt I needed somewhere to be. I felt like I love to give and I love to do something for my community. And I actually met Monroe at a meeting where they were talking about needing volunteers and water organizations needing volunteers. She goes, why don't you check out the chamber, the BASC? And I said, fantastic. And that's how I ended up here.
And how long have you been on the board?
I want to say 3 years, but somebody check the records.
Okay. And then were you a secretary from the beginning? Did you
I
jump
actually
in?
started as the treasurer.
Oh,
I
okay.
was the treasurer for my first term and then became the secretary.
Wow. So we're so grateful. She also helps volunteer. She works at the farmer's market. We get to be there. We being the BASC, the Buchanan Area Senior Center, will be at the farmer's market in June, July, and August this year. Hopefully nothing changes. So we're excited to be back there. She and Leona, they run that beautifully. So come out and see us this summer.
And I love it. I love seeing all the creations everybody brings. Oh my goodness. Those goodies, I'm going to tell you, I do go home with some of them. I do spend my own money on them because they are just delicious.
Yum, yum.
So I can't wait for you to start baking again.
Yay. So tell us a little bit about you. You came here, and did you knew what you wanted to do? Did you what did you, first of all, when you was younger, what did you want to do when you was going to grow
When I
up?
was growing up, I wanted to be everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a stewardess. Now they call them flight attendant. I wanted to actually be in the hotel industry. I was saving and trying to go into a special school where you learn all about the hotel industry from top to bottom, about housekeeping to front desk management to, you know, how to run a banquet type thing. And then I fell in love.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that changed some
That
things.
changed. Yeah. Big change. Over the seas changing.
Yeah.
So since you've been in the States, what have you been doing? with
Since I've been to
jobs?
the States, I've done a little bit of everything. I went to beauty school. I graduated from there, but I never worked in the profession. I ended up working in a nursing home in the kitchen. Not as a sous chef, but as an assistant, making the puddings, the salads, washing the dishes. Very, very grounding. Then I worked as an activity director in the nursing home, which I really loved and enjoyed doing that. After that, I worked at Fernwood Botanical Garden as the volunteer coordinator and working at the front desk. And then from there, I decided to open my own daycare, and I've done that for 5 years. Went on to college for my associate's degree in early childhood education. Whew. And then ended up being a preschool teacher for 5 years. From there, I actually totally changed directions again, and I became an executive administrative assistant right here in town at Bosch Rexroth. From there, I moved to Bayer Healthcare, another German company, and I was the office manager. And then had the opportunity to move into being in freight claims and freight payments. And I really enjoyed that. That was a real interesting world of work. And I actually, in between that, got my bachelor degree from Bethel College in organizational management. And now I'm working for McCarty Well Drilling, which I absolutely love right here in town. Great people, great guys to work. We laugh every day.
That's good. So what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, I love to read, listen to music, walks on the beach, picking up rocks, just a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And what makes you laugh?
Myself.
She does that very well, right? I love it.
I don't mind laughing at myself, because, you know, if you don't laugh at yourself, then I don't know. I guess that's just who I am. I like to laugh at myself. I like to laugh. I find things to be happy about and laugh about. And that's a nice thing with my work. Wherever I've worked at, I've always been around a great group of people where we would laugh every day.
Nice. And what piece of wisdom would you like to share with us?
Well, never give up. Learn something new every day. If I feel that learning is such a great thing to do, and we're never too old or never too young to learn. So, you know, take something away every day in the evening, think about how your day went, and then ding, 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 you're like, ooh, I learned something new today. And just kind of bank that and take it with you into the new day.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sabine. Oh my gosh, she's wonderful. I just really adore you and our friendship, and to have this opportunity to be here and to share with everyone this how to eat healthy and just learning with the pandemic and how to do things differently. So the virtual cooking, that's how that came about. And I know that Sabina really liked to cook, so that's why I'm like, ah, she's going to be my choice. But we're going to, right now, we're still waiting for the vegetables to bake, and we're going to give it a little bit more time. I'm going to pause this, but you won't really see the pause. It just might be going into an uneven flow when we come back. And Sabina is going to take you on further with the salmon and all the good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hello, welcome back. So we're moving on to our salmon. We just have 2 5-ounce little strips of salmon. That is a nice portion for one person. Something about salmon, you know, it's extremely healthy. It has those good omega compounds of it, so it's great if you have cholesterol issues and all. One thing about when you're cooking fish or meat or chicken of any kind, you always want to take it out of the fridge a little bit before you cook it and let it get to room temperature. It kind of closes the pores a little bit, and it kind of helps you in the cooking process. So what we're going to do, we're going to season it again. We're going to put on a little bit of the coriander. Staying with that same flavor profile. A little bit of the cumin. Oh, that was a little more than I wanted, but we'll make it work. A little bit of the coriander. Oregano. Kind of rub it in a little bit. Flip them over. I always have a towel. At home I always have a nice sink of hot water waiting too, so that I can just put all my dirty dishes right in it, and it helps me with the cleanup process. I actually am a person who loves to do dishes by hand. Alright, we got that going. I'm going to move over there in just a moment and show you what we'll do next in the frying pan. Thank you. Alright, here we are at the stove. I just turned the pan on about medium to high. We're going to use some sunflower seeds. You can use pumpkin seeds. Just kind of toss them in the pan. We don't need a lot. Just kind of toss them in the pan, let them warm up a little bit. What this is doing, it's releasing some of the flavors, so that they have a little more of the nutty flavor as the sunflower seeds do. It doesn't take much at all, just a little bit. And I prefer a non-stick pan when I'm cooking, because I can get quite dangerous with any other pans. And I don't like scrubbing. I like doing dishes, but I don't like scrubbing. Alright, we're just going to set them aside for our topping for later. And now we're going to work into our salmon. Again, we season the salmon with cumin and coriander and oregano. Got some virgin olive oil in my pan. Just going to heat that up. because we have seasoned the fish on both sides, and I like my skin a little more on the crusty side. And when it's nice and hot, it will get that crust to it, and it will pardon me, sometimes my tongue gets a little away from me. It will release the flavors from the seasoning that we have there. So, all right, the pan seems good and hot. Just gonna use my fish and set it in there. You can hear some sizzling. That's always a very good sign. Pop them in there. And my out with my hands. It's one of the reasons I like to wear an apron too. And tuck my little towel right in here, and then I have it on me. I used to just flip it over my shoulder, but I would lose it behind me all the time. And I didn't like that. So here we are, just kind of letting this cook, sizzling nice. Let me move some of this out of the way. In the meantime, I'm going to take our vegetables out of the oven. They are nice and tender right now. All right, this is not my oven, so I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. I hope I did that. Just letting the fish cook. Usually when you cook salmon, for pieces like that, anywhere between 5 minutes on one side, another 3 to 5 minutes on the other side. That should cook it nice and through. I have to see they're a little bit thicker in the middle here, but roughly for a little piece of fish like that, you probably shouldn't take more than 7 to 8 minutes. And I wanted to tell you with some music, but I can't sing, so we're kind of on our own.
Well, where's your favorite place to get fish at?
The thing is that around here, really, we don't have like fishmongers or anything like that. That would be my favorite place. But Martin's is a good place, and Myers, those would be the two places that I like to go.
Okay.
Martin's would be my preferred one. Then we would go to Myers. So I'm flipping it, and I'm not sure if the camera can capture this, but it has a nice crust on it. That's what it wants. It seals in all the flavors there from our spices. And looking it down just a little bit. Because we don't want to burn it, we just want to cook it through real nice. And that's going to take a little bit because this is a little bigger at the end. So when I was 8 years old, I made my first Sunday meal. I actually locked the kitchen door and locked my parents out of the kitchen. I made my first Sunday meal, and you're going to ask me what I made, and I'm going to tell you. I made something called rouladen, and potato balls, or is what we call noodle, and the cabbage. And that is not an easy meal to make. It takes a lot of work, but I was more than determined that I could do it, and so I did. Our kitchen door had a little bit of window in it, and my dad was there with his face on it trying to give me directions. So I just hung a dish towel over the window and locked them out totally.
It reminds me of those shows that have children who compete. You know,
Yes.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how do these kids know so much? So how did you know what to do at 8 years old?
Because whoever was in the kitchen, I was in the kitchen with either one of my parents.
Okay.
So I learned little tricks from my mom, who did something a little different than my dad. And it just was a lot of fun for me. I loved it. I loved peeling potatoes. So that was my job, KP duty, peeling potatoes.
Wow. Did they show you or tell you what to do and why to do it, or you just kind of just gathered it and learned?
No, I would ask questions. I also believe in life that you need to ask a lot of questions. And I've always been very inquisitive.
Yeah.
So I would ask questions, so they would tell me why and all that. And, you know, then again, just from being in the kitchen with them, you learn.
Wow.
So I'm gonna try 'em.
Do you have a fish that you prefer over other fish?
Oh, pardon me. My all-time favorite fish is a trout.
Okay.
I like trout, I like salmon, tuna, a nice tuna steak, yes.
Okay.
I like to make a nice tuna steak on the grill and have some vegetables on the grill with that. Makes a nice summer dinner,
Okay.
quick, easy, flavorful. So this is a little on the fat side. I'm not trying to pick it up. Oh, slip it for me. Kind of get the sides cooking a little bit here.
Do you have a favorite dish that you enjoy cooking more than another?
No,
No?
I really don't. I enjoy cooking lots and lots of different things. My 2021 goal is I want to learn more about Indian cooking from India.
Oh, okay.
I love the spices that are being used. They're just so fragrant, and there's so much you can do with it. I did have to promise my husband not to turn vegetarian. So. I'm going to turn this off. And we're just going to let it sit here a little bit. I'm trying to make sure that it's cooking through here on the thick edges. Now something else you can do if you don't like to use a lot of oil, you can steam your fish in your pan. You just add a little bit of broth, or if you want to just use water, you can do it, but I like to use a little bit of vegetable broth. I'll just pour very little in the bottom of the pan, and then put my fish into it. That's very nice. I like to do that when I cook a white fish, because they usually cook faster and then they fall apart a little bit easier, and I don't have to handle it too much in my pan.
Okay.
All right, so gotta plate one of these. I have this here. Some vegetables. Now comes the fun part. A couple of seeds over the vegetable for a little bit of crunch. And I usually like to make a chimichurri sauce, but I did not have the ingredients at this moment, so I'm just using some cilantro avocado dressing, and we're just going to, oh, you know, when you try to be careful, it's all going to come out at once. Just put a little bit on the plate. So here we have our meal. We've got some salmon, some dressing, some of the potatoes with peppers and sunflower seeds, and this is where we're just going to sprinkle some of our cilantro on top. Bon appetit!